The folk custom called Vajdudula is when the Bulgarian people pray to God for rain. It's usually practiced by women, both young and old. They perform the ritual when there hasn't been enough rain between April and August. The girl playing the role of Vajduduла decorates herself with greenery. She has to be the baby of the family, the last born. Then the women and girls who gather to do Vajduduла have to be near some water, like a drinking fountain, a spring or a river. They go there and start decorating the Vajdudula girl with ivy and flowers. They make a wreath, weaving in ivy and garden flowers to make the girl really beautiful. Then she's ready as Vajdudula. They give her a pot of water and a bouquet, which she uses to sprinkle water around and to implore God to send some rain.
Ако паче на мутика Вайдудуле, дай Боже дъжд. Па се Богу милно моли Вайдудуле, дай Боже дъжд. Дай ни Боже ситна роса Вайдудуле, дай Боже дъжд. Дай ни роси синорете Вайдудуле, дай Боже дъжд. Сега жени.
When Vajdudula is ready, she and the women go round the houses. They go from house to house, singing the Vajdudula song and praying for rain. The housewives give them apples, flour to make a loaf, onions, beans and all sorts of things they have in the house. Hello, welcome, welcome. Glad to see you in good health. I knew you were coming and got ready. Here's some flour for you to make a loaf with. Good health to you. And I put some salt and spices here to make the loaf nice and tasty. And here's some white cheese for you to break off. And here are some apples, so you can be nice and red-faced and cheerful like the apples. And here are some onions for good luck, for your good health.
Ябълки, да сте червени като ябълките, засмяни, хубави. Я така ще вземете с кошничката. Ето и лук. Да случите, да сте живи и здрави.
Then they go to the housewife from where they set out, carrying everything with them. The housewife kneads the dough and puts it in the oven to bake while the women set the table. They take an incense burner and put embers and incense in it. They swing the incense over the table in the same direction as the circle dance and they pray for rain.
Каденето започва по посока на хорото как се играе и се моли Бога за дъжд.
They say the Lord's Prayer, inviting God to sit at the table and praying for rain.
Която приканват и Бога на трапезата и го молят за дъжд.
Our Father,
който си на небето и на земята, да ти се свети името, да ти бъде волята, както на небето, така и на земята. Хлябът наш, който ни го даваш всеки ден, дай ни го и днес. И прости ни греховете, както и ние ги прощаваме на нашите длъжници. Не ни въвежди и в беди, избави ни от всяко зло. В името на Отца и Сина и Светия го Дух. Амин.
Then they all take some food to the table and break the bread.
Ястията, които са на трапезата, разчупва се питката.
Then they roll the sieve. The way the sieve falls shows what kind of year it's going to be. If it falls bottom up, it's going to be a fertile year. That's the way they want it to fall. Careful now. Careful how you roll the sieve. Well done. It's going to be a generous year. They sing a song and do a circle dance for the Vajdudula girl. That's the Vajdudula custom.
Та завали стадо веле, лед вода студена, ти горо зелена. Завали стадо веле, лед вода студена, ти горо зелена. Та доне доено веле, лед вода студена, ти горо зелена. Доне доено веле, лед вода студена, ти горо зелена. Народният обичай къпането на попа.
Here in Sredna Gora, the only place where they do the folk custom called bathing the priest is the village of Chavdar. It symbolizes the baptism of Jesus Christ on the River Jordan in Jerusalem by John the Baptist. It happens after the end of the service given by the priest on Epiphany, or St. Jordan's Day, in the church of Archangel Michael in the village. That's when they start the ritual of bathing the priest. They choose a man in advance. He can be a young man or an older man, and he bathes the priest. This symbolizes the baptism of Christ. After pouring water on the priest's head, he gives a blessing and thanks the laymen in the village of Chavdar. The folk custom called singing in rings is a 2-day celebration. It takes place on the 31st December of the old year and the 1st of January of the new year. Unmarried youngsters of both sexes take part in preparing it. The young bachelors have to cut a cornel sapling to ensure a healthy year, because it's the healthiest tree. The young ladies decorate it. On New Year's Eve in the afternoon, the young men bring the sapling and then go somewhere where there's a spring or a river. In the meantime, the girls decorate the tree. They decorate it with things from around the house. Popcorn strung together, pieces of fruit that they dried in the summer and autumn, bits of coloured paper, dried peppers, apples and other things. Then they make a bouquet. They put basil in it, along with box twigs, wild geranium and winter flowers. They bind the bouquet with a red thread and tie it to the top of the cornel sapling. When they've finished decorating the cornel tree, they tie the bouquet to it and everything's ready. They sing special songs for the day. They sing 4 songs around the cornel tree and do a circle dance. They put a copper pot full of water underneath the cornel tree and then put some wheat in it and cover it with a masalche. The young unmarried men and women put good luck messages in this pot. When they've done that and sang the songs, they put the cornel tree away for the night. They have to do it before sunset until New Year's morning. On the 1st of January, they come and take the tree out. If the water has frozen in the pot, it means it's going to be a healthy year. They start singing in rings. They sing the same songs around the girls. The whole village comes out, all dressed up. They do a circle dance. At the end of the last circle dance, a young man who wants to get married during the year has to take the bouquet from the cornel tree. The boys start a wrestling match. They take down the cornel tree, and whoever gets hold of the bouquet will get married during the year. A woman who's got a mother and father reads out the good luck messages.
Няма да ходи по снега пеша, ще кара новичка кола.
In those days they would read like this: Let the lambs lick, let there be oxen. Let you sit on a chair and count the money. Let you become a teacher. Let you become a priest. Those were the kinds of good luck messages they used to write. When everybody's finished with the good luck messages, and they've finished reading them out, they splash water over the pot for good health.
И където и да ходят, младите да се завръщат в нашето красиво село. Най-хубавото кътче на България.
The circle dance has finished. Everything's finished. They used to play the music on a drum and a peene. They play music all afternoon. The dances wind around, and at the end they take down the cornel tree, and everybody takes a swig from it and takes it home. When traders come and sell some animal or other, they hit it with the cornel twig, so that traders come to the house in the same numbers as there were people on the square. And that's how the custom ends. Old Tsetsa Kichukova told me a lot of things about the Christmas Eve folk tradition. She was so keen and happy to remember the past, and I sat next to her by the stove and listened to her with fascination. Preparations begin very early on Christmas Eve. First, she said her mother would knead the dough for a loaf and put a coin in it. In the evening, whoever gets the coin will enjoy good health and money throughout the year. Then they start cooking. They stuff cabbage leaves. She told me they used to call them pilci. They put the stuffed cabbage leaves in a saucepan. In another saucepan they put peppers, dry stuffed peppers. In the evening they put the pilci and the stuffed peppers into a single saucepan. Then there has to be boiled wheat and maize on the table, because they symbolize fertility in the fields. Old Tsetsa said the main dessert used to be ushaf. That's stewed fruit that they dry in the summer and autumn. She says it's the tastiest dessert she ever had. After they set the table in the evening, they put what they called a budnik on the fire. This is a big solid log that has to burn all night. When they finish the preparations, they take an incense burner. They put embers and incense in it and swing it over the table. That's the job of the oldest man in the family. First he takes what they called a gugla, a sort of hat they used to have, and he swings incense over it and puts it on the head of the youngest male child. After the incense, the woman says the Lord's Prayer and invites God to the table. Then everyone sits at table. Everybody used to love Christmas Eve. During the day, their mother baked buns, male and female ones. The female ones were shaped like a snail. The male ones were like ordinary buns. In the morning, children from the neighborhood would take out their buns and try to outdo each other, each claiming they had the best one. Old Ceca told me that they used to make a terrible din. Then everyone, young and old, would go to church. After the service, they went to the square, where there would be a lively circle dance with music played on a drum and peene until the evening, and the next day, and the day after. The circle dance wound round the village for 3 days, and it was great fun.